Welcome back, everyone. Get 100 with another video for you guys today. Second video for today. After this, I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. I don't even know why I'm posting this so goddamn late. Anyway, this is the What If Ash Was Red Sun reboot part 2, and you guys smashed it with the like button. We got 7 likes on the first video, so that means you guys must have really missed this goddamn series. And I'm sorry. I know you guys don't want me to start over, but I utterly have to. But this gives me a chance to completely reboot everything and redo it right. Redo what I wanted to do. So in the last part, Red came back for Ash's 10th birthday. Well, Red and Blue both. They gave both of their sons their own respective Pokemon. 2 very special Pokemon that they bred down from their starters. Blue giving Gary a special shiny Squirtle with perfect IVs and EVs from, his Blastoise, and Red doing the same thing with his Charizard, but the Charmander that came out of it was very special. It was a Primal Alpha shiny Charmander from the old ways. So Charmander is a fire type in this one, but it's also much bigger than normal, and well, it's shiny. Blue states that didn't happen, and Red does tell him that Arceus did send him back in time to where he met ancient Pokemon. But Blue doesn't believe it. It's probably just an off-brand Charmander that probably has a birth defect or something. Whatever. I mean, Red would like to say that, but Gary takes his Pokemon. He thanks his dad, gives him a hug. And, Blue gives him his Pokeballs and his Pokedex. It would normally be Professor Oak doing this, but Gary wanted to get started right away, and Gary just took off already. He said hopefully he'll see his dad soon, but he has to go. So, okay, Blue decided to just take off as well. He left Red with Ash for a bit, so now they're just by themselves. So, I'm going to take them out. You know what? All right, so time for the next scene. Sorry, guys, I'm going to be pausing and doing a lot of movement, so just give it a bit. So, while Blue and Gary had left the scene, Ash and Red are left together, and Red does give Ash his Pokedex and Pokeballs, but he says let him see the Mew. The what? And Red says, you know what I'm talking about, son. Let's not try to hide it. Like, oh, you mean this Pokemon? And Ash would pull out the Cherish Ball and throw it out, as he would throw out the shiny Mew. And Red would walk up to Mew and rub its forehead. Like, you know this Pokemon? Yes. I have it. What are you talking about? As Red would pull out a Pokeball. You know how in Pokemon Sword and Shield, if you go into your Pokemon party, you can just go to the boxes? Yeah, the world's super goddamn advanced. So you have access to your boxes, even though you're not at a Pokemon Center, which is super useful. Red pulls out a Pokeball from his Pokemon box, and he throws out a Master Ball, and it's a Mew inside, but it's a regular Mew. Hold on a second. But Red would be happy that his son has the same Pokemon he does. And Ash would ask, how are these two the same Pokemon if they're mythicals or legendaries? Red goes on a whole thing about Pokemon respawning and place reset, where some Pokemon do tend to respawn. And Red would say Mew is basically the originator of Pokemon from all over the world. Some do still exist, but Ash seems to have the rarest one. It's a shiny. So that's great. And yes, keep in mind, this Mew is level, 5 or and something. Only great move it has is Psychic. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, it has Psychic. You know what? I don't even know why the heck Pokemon moves even exist. Like, even they were limited to 4 when they could just use any move they want. So you know what? I'm going to keep it. It's not limited to 4. You can use any goddamn move if you have it. And you can use every move imaginable. So that's going to be a lot there. So Red would tell his son that he's counting on him and to not get a big head, because if Ash's ego does get too out of control, he'll be right there to show up when he needs it the most, to put him right back in his place. So Ash, knowing that, don't get too cocky out there, because you got to face 8 gym leaders and you have to go through them again at their full strength just to get to the Pokemon League. So his journey is not over. So Ash would say okay, and then now he would walk off into the land of Kanto, as Red would go back home just to be with Delia again. So now we can cut to Ash's journey. Alright guys, so now we cut to Ash walking through the field, and Ash surprisingly has both of his Pokemon out with him. Now, of course, keeping them in their Pokeballs would be a lot easier, but just like Pikachu in the original, well, not like Pikachu in the original, Ash wants to get to know his Pokemon a lot better, and he wants to befriend them a lot easier. And so to do that, he wants to keep them constantly outside of their Pokeball so he can build a bond with them. Like father, like son in many ways, am I right? Also, if you guys notice the wholesome picture on the right, kudos to you for that one. Alright, but still, we cut to Ash learning about these Pokemon, and this Charmander really is gigantic. It's like literally almost half of Ash's size. Actually, no, it is half of Ash's size. If he was standing straight up, that is. Mew is obviously a lot smaller. I tried to make it how it is in the anime, but still. Yeah, this Charmander is pretty huge. Like, very. But on the other hand, Ash would, scan this Charmander, and it really wouldn't show up in the Pokedex. Because, Ash has not been in Legends Arceus yet. He hasn't got sent back in time, because he's not ready for that. So, yeah, Ash doesn't know what this Primal Charmander is. The Pokedex does read it as a Charmander, but the origin of this one is unknown. It just gives him the basic data of an actual Charmander. But, Ash would know that this Charmander is different. Oh my lord. So, as Ash just tells this Charmander, like, Ash scans its moves, and it's got a pretty powerful set. Right now, it has, oh my lord. It's got Fire Blast now, Dragon Pulse, Ancient Power, and last but not least, you know what? Counter. Just for the fields. Just for the feels. Yeah, Counter is a good thing to have. Who am I kidding? Any mod can use whatever they want, so I'm not really gonna settle for one. So as Ash, Mew, and Charmander would walk through the field, they would actually see this Pokemon that flies down to them. Okay, now I'm trying to think, guys. Give me 1 second. Now instead of okay, I know how many of you love Caterpie and Butterfree. I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta do it. Ash's first caught Pokemon comes down to meet him in the field, as it is Pidgey. Now, I know in the original it's actually Spearow, but Ash actually gets super lucky, and like I said, if you guys listen to part 1, all Pokemon are shiny, so I'm not really gonna freaking bother by saying that anymore. Alright, so this is Ash's first battle, as he pops out, Pidgey, you're mine! As the Pidgey gets ready for battle, Ash sends in Charmander first. Alright, let's go Charmander! And now, Charmander is the first Pokemon to be out and ready. Ash, with 50 Pokeballs, because, I don't know why they give you so many in the beginning of the games now, but hey, you get 50, so let's start them off. So Ash gets ready, and, alright, Charmander, let's start off with a Dragon Pulse! And Pidgey used a regular Gust attack, but Charmander's Dragon Pulse just shot right through that dang thing and hit Pidgey directly. Now, this Charmander was straight broken. Wow, because in just one hit, Pidgey was already badly hurt. And Ash knew, okay, we gotta stop the fight now. And Ash ran over to Pidgey to pick it up, seeing that it was critically injured. Okay, wow. So, that's definitely on my bad. So Ash would pick up the Pidgey, and he would return, and with both Charmander and Mew following suit, Mew would pick up Charmander with its psychic abilities and carry Charmander with it. Ash would take the Pidgey and try to run to the nearest Pokemon Center, seeing that it was critically injured. So he would come across a bridge and finally crossing the lake and running down. He would eventually end up running into Misty, as in canon, but this time he's not being chased by a flock of Spearow. And Misty would obviously comment on how that his Pidgey looks in terrible condition, and Ash would ask where's the nearest Pokemon Center, and she would point down there. And Ash would say thank you, but he would just jet off. He'd be such in a panic he wouldn't actually notice Misty's bike. Okay, so now it wouldn't be like I'm borrowing this and I'll give it back someday. It'd be like thank you, I gotta go. And Ash would just run off, and it would start raining like usual. But thankfully, in this one, Ash wouldn't actually slip. Thank God for that. And while running to the Pokemon Center, he would get there actually in under, this would be Viridian City. So yeah, Ash would actually make it to Viridian City like before sunset, and he would give the Pidgey to Nurse Joy, and Nurse Joy would take the Pidgey in the back, healing it up, as she would ask what happened to it. And Ash would then say that Pidgey is actually wild. He just challenged it to a battle to capture it, but he thinks he may have gone a bit overboard and, well, overused too much power and critically injured the Pidgey. And Nurse Joy would tell him, yes, he needs to learn how to hold back against other Pokemon, because not many of them can actually withstand other Pokemon's power. So after like 10 minutes, the Pidgey would come out just fine, and Ash would apologize for injuring it so badly, as Ash would, take it back outside and let Pidgey wander off into the wild. As him, Charmander, and Mew would continue on their journeys, but Pidgey, like feeling the unyielding strength of Charmander, would scream out to Ash, as it would, just say its name over and over again. And Ash would be like, huh? What's wrong, Pidgey? As the Pidgey would, fly right back to Ash, and it would try talking to him, but Ash wouldn't understand. You want to come with us? As Pidgey would nod, and Ash would bring up a Pokeball, like, okay, are you sure this is what you want? Pidgey would just peck at the Pokeball with its beak, and go right in, as Pidgey is Ash's newly caught Pokemon. Alright, I caught a Pidgey! Ash's first Pokemon. Alright, so from now on, Mew is going to be the only one staying out of its Pokeball, and while Pidgey and Charmander, well, not stay inside their Pokeballs. But because Pidgey immediately comes back out of the Pokeball, it wants to, be strong like Charmander and Mew. Like, okay, so I guess we can spare a little bit of time trying to train a bit. And thankfully, this training actually goes super well, because Pidgey starts to learn very great moves, because with Ash, you get a lot of your hidden potential unlocked. So Pidgey would battle Charmander from time to time, and sometimes Mew, but Mew would just insta-kill Pidgey. Because of that Psychic, man, it's just too strong. But, Charmander would then shoot off a fire blast. Sorry about that, guys. As Pidgey would, use, its Gust would actually end up turning into a wing attack and somewhat, blowing the, the fire back a little bit, but it would still get hit by it and get knocked down. But no matter how many times Pidgey would get knocked down, it would get back up again. Because Ash remembered to buy some healing items, so he bought a few potions and revives, because for some reason you can just get them early on nowadays. So the training would actually consist of like this. Pidgey battles Charmander and sometimes Mew on occasion to get stronger. As now, Pidgey would know very good moves. So, Pidgey now knows Wing Attack, Quick Attack, and Steel Wing, and and Gust still. Gust is still a move that it has. So with all this training going on, Ash decided to move on and go into, Viridian Forest. Yeah. Now he has to get to Pewter City. Alright, now we're going to begin. And as Ash would start to go through the forest, he would realize there are some actually useful Pokemon in here. But he doesn't want to just needlessly flood his, Pokemon party or boxes with, Pokemon that really don't seem, that they can actually do a lot for the team as of the time being. But still, Ash thinks having 3 Pokemon actually would just be enough. And it actually would be for a while. Until he would come across, I'm trying to think right now. You know what? Why not? He would actually come across 2 Pokemon in Viridian Forest that actually is quite rare to be showing up in. Quite rare to be showing up in. You guys know. Huh, weird. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My freaking camera cut off. But anyway, as I now am doing this, Ash ends up finding a shiny Eevee and a Pikachu. Okay, obviously it's not wearing the hat, but a Pikachu in the Viridian Forest, and they're actually playing together. Now, in case you guys don't know, these are the special partner Pikachus and Eevees in the Let's Go games. So, yeah, and Alright, look, contrary to what you guys believe, I believe the Let's Go Eevee is stronger than the Let's Go Pikachu, just because it has a heavier move pool, and the after effects that you can set up with that Eevee is just crazy. So, yeah. But these are the special partner Pikachus and Eevees. So, Ash decides to see what they're both up to. But they're actually super friendly. So with that being said, Ash actually ends up playing with those two, with Mew for a very long time. He even brings out his other Pokemon, which is Charmander and Pidgey. But I'm just not going to show that right now. But they all end up having a great time and playing in there. But, you know, over the time, they do realize that, well, now they're kind of like stuck in this forest overnight, which is fine. But great. So they end up all spending the night there. Give me one sec, guys. So while everything's happening overnight, the Pikachu and Eevee actually do end up waking up and running off, even though Ash had plans to catch them. Okay. So now, guys, I need something special to happen here. So what's ooh, I got it. The Beedrill. This is the Beedrill episode type of everything. So, ooh, okay. While that is happening. Alright, while that's happening, the Beedrills end up coming to the forest, and the Pikachu and Eevee actually try to run off to, well, they just try to defend themselves first, but they're not, you know, fighters. So they end up making the swarm of Beedrill angry, and they're chasing after them, until Ash actually hears them and ends up waking up. And he tries to hear where they went, but then he hears like the Beedrill swarm and the Pikachu and Eevee screaming. So, with all three of his Pokemon, he rushes towards the Pikachu and Eevee, trying to protect them. Hold on, I think I need to add like a whole bunch of, you know, Beedrills. So give me a sec, guys. So Ash, with all of his Pokemon, would jump in front of the Pikachu and Eevee. And he would defend them from them, saying, "Stay back, all of you." And as the Beedrill, well, they would actually get very angry that someone tried to step in, so now they would try to swarm Ash. But thankfully, Charmander, use Fire Blast! And as soon as that happened, Charmander let off a great flame that greatly surpassed like a whole bunch of the Beedrills, and most of the Beedrills got caught in in the flame, which defeated like literally half of them. Like, Pidgey, use your wing attack. Mew, use Psychic. And all of those Beedrill like definitely got washed over with a team of 3. And the Pikachu and Eevee are just seeing this human protect them. And finally, that would happen. And so, ooh, hold on. I need to imagine the next best thing. Just because, okay, hold on a sec, guys. So while all of the Beedrill are defeated, Ash sees one of its kids come out. And one of the Weedles actually comes out, and when Ash looks up, he sees the Kakuna tree, and he finally understands that these Beedrill actually weren't aggressive. They were just the parents protecting their children. So Ash ends up apologizing to all the Beedrills and saying they honestly meant no harm to them. And then the Beedrill actually starts to finally understand that these Pokemon weren't of any harm to their family, but you know, they are protective and stuff like that. But then as Ash, you know, gets his Pokemon and he tells Pikachu and Eevee they need to go, the Weedle looks at Ash, but it doesn't want him to leave. It calls out to him yet again, and the Weedle looks back at its parents, and it pretty much begs to let it go with Ash. The Weedles they all huddle together and think for a moment, but then the Alpha Beedrill, basically the biggest one that you guys can see, you know, they all may look the same to you, but I'm gonna just say the biggest one there. It flies over to Ash and it points one of its pincers at Ash, and then points to the Weedle. You want me to take one of your Weedles? And then the Beedrill nods, basically telling Ash to make it strong as them. And Ash says, "I will." Oh yeah, keep in mind, all the shiny Beedrills that you see, they're all regular. Only Ash's Weedle is an actual shiny one. He's like, "Weedle, you want to come with us?" And the Weedle inches over to Ash, and Ash holds out a Pokeball, and Weedle just taps its poison point on it, and Ash catches it. All right, I just caught a Weedle. So as that journey's now over, all right, let's cut to near the end of the forest. I'm not saying directly there yet. So we cut to near getting close to the end of Viridian Forest, as the Pikachu and the Eevee are safe, and Ash and his Pokemon bid them farewell. But he says he'll come back after a while to play with them some more. But sadly, this is where they have to part ways. But the Pikachu and Eevee don't want Ash to leave. And Ash says he's sorry, but he has to continue on his journey to become a Pokemon master. He's positive that these Pokemon are great and will be positive partners for other people, but he has to get going. But then the Eevee and Pikachu look at each other, and then they look at Ash. And while Ash is, walking away with his other Pokemon, their friendship growing ever stronger, he feels two things on his feet, and it's the Pikachu and Eevee. They're clinging to his feet. Huh? What's wrong, you guys? And basically, they go into Ash's backpack, and they basically pull out the two Pokeballs. Like, you guys want to come with us? And they just tap on the Pokeballs, and they just make themselves be caught. Well, and Ash just pulls up a double. I caught a Pikachu and an Eevee. Now, this is special. Now, Ash has a full team of 6 Pokemon. Alright, so now it's time to cut to the end of Viridian Forest, where Ash runs into that, that bug trainer. Bam. Now, we cut to the end of Viridian Forest, where Ash runs into the bug samurai trainer. And he halts Ash before going through the the gate, and he says he's the samurai who tests all Pallet Town trainers before they go through before they get to Pewter City. He must test their strength to see if they're strong enough. He's fought all and lost to them, but he wants to see if Ash can go get through. Jesus Christ, I'm stuttering way too goddamn much. All right, anyway. So Ash says he's ready for anything as he throws out his first Pokemon. Well, he's gonna throw out one of his newest additions. Weedle, I choose you. And the samurai would say, a Weedle, huh? Huh, not even evolved yet? Pathetic. Huh, go, Metapod! And as the samurai throws out a Metapod, Ash just says, I'll show you, Weedle, use Poison Sting! And the Weedle uses its tip at the top of its head to shoot it at Metapod and hit it. But then the bug trainer would just say, Metapod, harden! And the Metapod would harden its skin. And Ash would say, Weedle, use Poison Sting again. And as Weedle would do it again, it would kind of not affect Metapod as it used to. As this would just be a repetitive cycle until finally, well, on the 5th try, Ash would keep telling it to use Poison Sting, and finally it would end up poisoning the Metapod. Yeah, you can get a poison off of Poison Sting. And so the bug trainer's kind of worried about that, because now Metapod is just going to be slowly chipped away. So even though the battle would last for a long time, it would actually go to Weedle as Metapod would go down due to the poison effects. And this was the trigger that this Weedle needed to actually grow into its next evolution. Kakuna. Alright. Oh, and Ash had cheered. Alright. About his new Pokemon's evolution. And the Bug Samurai wasn't really expecting that. Ash said he knows a thing or two about Pokemon strategies and Pokemon moves, as he's seen them so many times, so he knows what some moves are capable of, as he's worked on them a bit. And the bug trainer would just say, okay, maybe you're not as incompetent as I thought, but this next Pokemon will for sure put that Kakuna down. Pinsir, let's go! Oh man, this is funny, as the Stag Beetle Pokemon would now hit the battlefield, Ash would actually start to get worried, as he knows his newly evolved Pokemon isn't on this type of level to take down this type of enemy, especially with no attacking moves. But Ash actually does have an idea. Okay. He tells for Kakuna to harden, and as the Pinsir does come at it, Ash tells it to use String Shot. But the samurai would wonder, why is he using String Shot? And this would just be a flurry of hardens and string shots, while the Pinsir actually just goes for bug bites and poison sting as well. But it can't poison Kakuna because it is a poison type. As the battle would start to get dragged out. Ash would know that Kakuna wouldn't be able to last too long, but he knows that he's wrapped enough strings around Pinsir to make it slow enough. So So Ash finally calls for the first time in this battle a Poison Sting, which hits Pinsir dead on. And since Pinsir is a pure bug type, it can be poison, and lucky enough it was. Now, at this point, Ash does recall his Kakuna and thanks it for a very good job, as he throws in his next Pokemon, Pidgey, I choose you! As the bird Pokemon would touch the ground now, Ash would be thinking, okay, this is Pidgey's test. Alright, Pidgey, you ready for this? And the samurai just said, foolish, that pre-evolved bird may be super effective, but only attacks it has is Gust, which won't do anything to my Pinsir. Heh, we'll see about that. Pidgey, use Quick Attack! As now, the Pidgey rushes at the Pinsir and hits it dead on. As now, the samurai tries to tell Pinsir to catch the Pidgey within its, Pinsir's actually. But Pinsir is so slow that the Pidgey is actually able to maneuver out of the way. Now this is what Ash was going for, slowing it down just enough to where Pidgey could actually do a lot of damage to it. Now Pidgey, use Wing Attack! As the Pidgey comes down, it hits the Pinsir dead on with a super effective Wing Attack, and the poison is starting to kick in. As the samurai actually starts to get impressed by Ash's moves. Like, we're still not done yet. Use Peck! Yep, Peck had evolved from Gust now. Like, so the Pinsir was pecked dead on. But not enough. Pinsir, use Vice Grip! As now the Pinsir rushes at it with its pincers, and Ash just say, alright Pidgey, we have to end this now. Go and use Wing Attack one last time! And as the Pidgey rushes at the Pinsir for the final time, the two exchange as Pinsir catches Pidgey's body within its pincers, saying, I finally got you. But Ash just said, you still didn't make the Wing Attack go away. Wait, what? As Ash just says, now Pidgey, do it! Right on top of Pinsir's head! As the Pidgey would raise up its wing, as the Wing Attack would still be shown, and almost like in a karate chop fashion, the Pidgey would swing down its wing right on top of Pinsir's head, leaving it wide open because its pincers can't protect it anymore. As the Pinsir would let go of Pidgey, it would fall on its back, knocked out. And Ash would just say, alright, we did it, Pidgey! As the Pidgey would fly back to Ash, very, very proud of itself. Now that was an amazing fight. As the samurai would come back to Ash, he would tell Ash that was a spectacular Pokemon battle, as none of the actual trainers, well besides one with a Squirtle, had used a strategy like that. Ash just said, well, to be honest, that was, he knew there was no way any of his at the point in time, none of his Pokemon had the raw power to straight up overpower Pinsir. Well, maybe except for one, but Ash didn't want to just use one of his Pokemon to get too overconfident. He knows he needs to train his other Pokemon if he wants all the gym badges and if he wants to win the Pokemon League. And the samurai would say, you know what? Why don't you stick around for a little bit? Because, wait, can I see your whole team for a bit? And Ash just says, sure, as he lets out all of his Pokemon. And now, as the samurai would see all of Ash's Pokemon, except Mew, because Ash keeps that under wraps, because, he doesn't want people seeing that. The guy would actually say, Ash has a pretty nice, well-rounded team, but he gives Ash a hint. The first Pokemon gym is a rock type, and, well, Ash is not really suited to be fighting any rock types right now. As Ash would look at his team, and he's right. Only ones that possibly could do something would be Eevee and Pikachu, and maybe Charmander because, Pidgey probably could do something because it has Steel Wing. He is confident in Charmander, even though it only has, one Dragon type move, which is Dragon Pulse. It's fine, but he knows Eevee probably could handle himself because he has a double kick, and so does Pikachu, but still, it's a very glaring weakness. And the samurai asks why doesn't Ash just stick around the forest for a little bit. Him and Ash can train on the daily until Ash thinks he's ready to move on. So, okay, so guys, Ash will be late like in the current timeline because he's going to spend more time training his Pokemon. I know, so this is me missing out on the event of Misty and, you know, the other Pokemon events. So Ash actually will be late going to the gym again than the other trainers. He would be on time if he just left, but going to meet Brock a few days later after training his Pokemon up is actually going to be proved to be a good thing, as you guys will see in part 3, because every 30-minute video. If this gets enough likes like the last one, because the first part got 7 likes, if this video gets 10 likes, I promise you I will make an hour-long video of this, so that way you guys won't have to wait a long time again just to get this video out. But that was all for this one here, guys. Ash is going to stick in this forest to train a little bit. But with that being said, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace, guys!